Good morning and welcome to the State of UX and the Zcash ecosystem. Today we're going to talk about just general user experience for all the consumers of our products. When I say products, I'm talking about both ECC, Foundation, and for that matter, the OMG grants. Today you'll be talking with Joseph Van Geffen and Pili Guerra. So to just give you a quick introduction to who we are and why we're talking about this, my name's Geffen. I've been working in fintech, think financial technology, for about 20 years now. I have a lot of traditional banking experience and have lately been working on the ECC team, specifically on the mobile applications of Zcash. So I'm trying to make payment or more payment-like Zcash wallets, stuff that we can use when we go to Lowe's, or we can use just to buy anything we want, as well as hodl or even speculate if you want to. But we want to make the usability of those wallets rise to a pretty much a world-class level. Of course, the goal here is to foster that best user experience for everyone without sacrificing privacy in any way.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pili, and I've been working at the Zcash Foundation as engineering and project manager since November 2020. So prior to that, I was working at the Toll project as a project manager for the Toll browser community and UX teams. So today, I'm really excited to share some of the UX challenges we're facing in the Zcash ecosystem, some of the successes and future plans in this area.
Yeah, and it looks like Tor is going to have a larger part to play with Zcash moving forward, which is great. Glad to hear that today.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So now you know a little bit about who Geffen and I are and where we work, but you may not know about who the electric coin company and the Zcash Foundation are, and maybe some other players in the Zcash ecosystem. So just to give you a very brief run through, in the beginning, there was the electric coin company, and they're the company that first developed and launched the Zcash software. However, from very early on, the ECC realized that in order to better serve the interests of all of the Zcash stakeholders and users, an independent non-profit entity should be the one to steward the technology and the network. And then so in 2017, the Zcash Foundation was launched as a non-profit organization. And they were charged with building financial privacy for infrastructure for the public good. So right now, the foundation primarily does this by serving the users of the Zcash protocol and blockchain, but our goal is to create tools that enable everyone and anyone to protect their privacy in their own terms. So together, the ECC and the foundation contribute to research, the protocol, and development of the Zcash network software. And there is one other player I want to briefly mention here, and that is the Zcash Open Major Grants Committee, or the SONG, if you can pronounce that. And they also found Zcash related projects to help bring financial privacy to everyone in the world. So this is really the thing that unites us all, a shared desire to protect financial privacy for all. And with that, I will hand you over to Geffen to give you a rundown of what's been going on since last ZCon in 2019.
Yeah, so obviously everyone had a difficult, or I'd be surprised if you did not have a difficult year. It was a strange one. But the last ZCon when we met was in Croatia. We were able to meet there in person. And what had just happened is Sapling has just been released. We were all there kind of celebrating it. We had good exchange coverage to talk about. We didn't really have a lot of shielded support when it came outside of our own wallets. And we had no shielded support on hardware wallets. This is sadly still true, but we do have a lot of great projects that are working on that with Ledger, and I even think with Trezor at this moment in time. And then just to kind of as a point, there was only a few wallets to choose from if you wanted a Ecc Wallet. And the wallets that we were creating in ECC for internal testing weren't really available to the public. At ZCon 1, we did have a mobile use case of the proof of concept wallet. We created a swag app wallet. If you were there or if you were not there, imagine that you could wander around and find little poker chips that had little QR codes on it, and you could use this wallet that you were told to download with your welcoming pack and scan those chips to do sort of a paper swap and take all of the money that was on those chips, and then you would have a certain amount of TAS. And if you got enough TAS throughout that event, you could come buy a hoodie or a t-shirt. And realistically, we brought the hoodies and t-shirts for you. So as long as you gave some effort of trying, we were going to hook you up anyway. But we were amazed by the feedback we got. And it was great since we were just taking this proof of concept off the shelf and showing it to people for the first time. Light Wallet D service was brand new. We'd spun that up pretty much. We knew we were going that way to be able to keep everything zero knowledge and completely private on the phone. But we needed that service we needed that service so all the phones had a point of contact to talk to, and so we could make sure that we were hitting all the same blockchain, and it was working pretty smoothly even at that point in time. We released the SDK then, but it was only on Android. So if you sort of fast forward to today, we have Mainnet support, first of all, which is huge. We've released and improved the SDK as well as all the documentation that goes with the SDK. If you have a question about how to do something now, there's a lot less grunt work required to go find the answers to that, as well as us being now on Discord and on Slack and available at all times. We do have a iOS team. We have an Android and iOS SDK bundles out. We are building our own internal Ecc Wallet where we test it pretty much on the monthly. We do something called dog fooding, which means we just make sure to put real money through it. And during that time, we've improved sapling transaction computation times as well. The wallet team didn't do this. Don't get it twisted. I'm talking about the core team, of course. But we as a company and we as a ecosystem, we've improved our mobile use case better and better as we move forward. We had faster syncing, faster checkpoints, and we had a whole bunch of friends come and join. We have Ecc Wallet, Nighthawk. We have Unstoppable support coming out. I think Gemini and Coinbase still require transparent and KYC, but you still can buy Zec on their mobile products as well. And then, of course, Gemini has a wonderful shielded out withdrawal, which is wonderful. And really is kind of the way the future is moving. Zephyr's on the way. This is going to be, I hate to define it as like a MetaMask-like, but it's going to be, in your browser. We're going to be able to do a lot more things that are going to allow you to link up your Ecc Wallet with the site you're on. And that's going to be great for both, I think, projects that could spark a lot of collaboration and fun, as well as just having a wallet more easily available for purchasing and using it. Big shout outs to the wallet team. They did a lot of hard work. Shout out to the community members who have been stepping up lately and just submitting their own PRs as well. So moving forward, still muted, sorry.
Sorry about that. So Gavin gave you a very good overview of where we are in mobile, but now I want to talk to you about nodes. And for me, these are the most interesting pieces of software in the Zcash ecosystem because they're the way for users to operate in the Zcash network. And I would really like to help improve the accessibility of running a node and participating in the network. But where are we today with regards to nodes? So right now, there is currently only one stable implementation out there, and that is Zcash. So if you want to run a node and you want to participate in the Zcash network, Zcash has been the only choice for almost 5 years now. So the Zcash Foundation wants to change that with Zebra and provide an alternative implementation of consensus-compatible Zcash. So we want something that is written in a modern language and is modular in design. And so it's our hope that with this approach, we will attract more third-party developers to hack on the Zcash network. But why do we want to change this? Why is it necessary? For me, the answer, and for many people, the answer is to make the network stronger through diversity. And there are many angles to this diversity. There's diversity in developers and programming languages, potentially new operating systems that can run a Zcash node. And with this diversity, we get resilience to vulnerabilities and bugs. And as we get more eyes on the specification and SIPs, we've been finding different ways to interpret them and resolve any potential ambiguities to make the Zcash specification more robust. And all of this diversity and all of this size and implementations, I think, drive improvements to the software UX and also the network usability. And we already have examples of the benefits of having different teams looking at the spec, finding potential bugs. And so we are really looking forward to attracting more kinds of developers that can contribute to the Zcash ecosystem. Quick overview on Zebra. There will be a session on nodes, so you will get a much more in-depth explanation. But in case you don't know, Zebra is an alternative Zcash node implementation. It is written in Rust, and the Zcash Foundation has been working on this for the past 2 years, more or less. That is a long time, but building a new node implementation from the ground up is really not an easy task. But we're hopeful that soon we'll start to reap the benefits, and we're hoping to fully validate Zcash network rules by the time NU5 activates on testnet. So we haven't achieved our goals of a multi-client ecosystem, but watch this space. We'll soon get there. So for me, it's clear that we want to attract more third-party developers to the Zcash ecosystem, and we also want to nurture the ones that we already have. But how can we help them to integrate with our tools? And how can we help them more easily access the Zcash network? What challenges are they facing when developing tools for the Zcash ecosystem? So, and in particular, I'm really interested to find out what needs they have from a node implementation. So for the past 6 months or so, the Zcash Foundation has been having conversations with projects using Zcash, and we wanted to find out their needs from a node implementation. And this was to help us inform future Zebra development. So in particular, I very recently had conversations with wallet developers, and I wanted to find out how they are currently using Zcash and any pain points, future needs, anything that they need to more easily interact with the Zcash network. So I just want to take you through some of the themes I found. And one of the things that stood out was the need for flexibility. So as operators deploy a Zcash node, they may want to optimize the underlying tech stack, either to suit their infrastructure, or maybe they want to work with technologies they are familiar with. And also they might want to upgrade to newer protocols and newer technologies as these become more mainstream and adopted as standards. So that is one of the themes that we would like to explore. How do we allow more flexibility in the underlying tech stack? Another theme that I found was visibility and control. So I'm talking about visibility and control both in terms of Zcash. So liveness checks. Is my node up? How can I easily check that nothing's gone wrong? But also control over configuration changes. So configuration changes right now require a full node restart, and maybe sometimes you might want to do some types of configuration changes that don't require that overhead because it is costly. And also this visibility and control extends to the transactions. So third-party developers, and in particular wallet developers, want users to have more visibility over the progress and status of a transaction, and as well as more flexibility in how transactions is constructed. So our users know what they are doing, and they want this control over the convenience of letting the software transparently construct transactions. Finally, I want to briefly talk about enterprise use case support. And what I mean by that is the ability for nodes to be able to manage a lot of addresses and a lot of unique keys without a degradation in performance. So right now, I think this is somewhat mitigated by the use of light wallet servers. But ideally, if a node needs to be able to manage lots of addresses and viewing keys, then we should be easily able to scale in line with usage. So, as we start thinking about how we can support wallet use cases with Zebra, we want to use this research and expand on it to prioritize our work and ensure we're building the right features to support our third-party developers. The next slide is, we're not ready to be reliably, Zebra is not ready to be reliably used on mainnet, but we would still like to share with you some of what we feel are our usability wins and achievements so far. And the first thing I want to say is that Zebra is very fast. Currently, we are achieving sync times of under 3 hours, and this is when checkpointing on the Canopy network upgrade. How are we managing this? Well, everything that can be done in parallel is done asynchronously in parallel, and we use all cores, all computing power, and all bandwidth available to Zebra in order to achieve this. As well as that, we also batch all signature and proof verifications, and we defer any contextual checks until the very last minutes. And all of this helps us to be as fast as we possibly can. And we are always looking for ways to be even faster and optimize further. So the other thing that we're very happy about is that we have inspired a new Bitcoin client, which is written in Rust. And we've already enjoyed the benefits of some of the cross-pollination with that community. And we've had a number of good contributions from its main developer. So we're really happy about that. And, we want the pool of external contributors to Zebra to keep growing, and we really couldn't be happier to welcome their improvements and bug fixes. So just to wrap up from my side, I want to give you a bit of a preview into what we're planning to do in the next few months for Zebra. And the first thing we want to do, once we're done validating all of the Zcash network rules, is for Zebra nodes to be good citizens in the Zcash network. We want them to play nicely with all other nodes. And so in order to achieve this, we need to implement some outstanding functionality, and that is to maintain a mempool and also to respond to, we already respond to some incoming requests from other nodes, but anything related to the mempool we're currently not dealing with. So we want to be able to respond to any request that comes from another node, whether that is a Zcash node or a Zebra node. So once we are happy that Zebra is working well, we will feel confident in asking users to entrust us with their funds. And that's when we'll start looking at the ability implementing the ability to send and receive funds using Zebra. And this will probably be as a backend for a wallet application. So first of all, we want to do this by implementing any required RPC methods, and then we will implement the Zebra client component too. And this component will mainly deal with private user data and interact with the Zebra node. That's so that anything that is private is completely isolated from the running node. One thing I would like to mention with regards to wallet support is potentially the Zebra network crate. And this is already available and it's operational. And we would really like to see third-party applications using this crate to directly access the Zcash peer-to-peer network. And so what we may do during this time when we're looking at the wallet functionality is to encourage people to start using the Zebra network crate and give us feedback so that we can improve documentation on how it might be used, and so that third-party developers can use it to access the peer-to-peer network. And the final point that we would like to do once all of that is done, we really want to set our sights on providing some sort of support for private network connections using Tor. So that's it from me for now, and I will now hand you back to Geffen.
Excellent, thank you. I want to take a quick step back just to talk about Halo Arc. Now, some of you guys may have heard this term. You may feel that it is synonymous with NU5, which isn't a bad guess. I do want to point out that Halo Arc, it's just more than Halo 5. This is the concept that we're creating a suite of tools when we do releases now. We're doing a little more product mindset. So instead of having just a couple tickets that we kind of subsume into every network upgrade and we're just moving forward, we're going to have a little more strategic moving forward as we do upgrades in the future. For instance, for this NU5 compatible, we know that we're going to have the Ecc reference wallet, both iOS and Android, do a better implementation of NU5 out the gate. We're going to know that we're going to be using our auto shielding feature, our auto migration feature, and some improved note management. These are UX, these are experience changes that will really help a user both have confidence in their balance in their app and just see that the product is evolving and that we're listening to feedback. And I think that's very important. So from them, the biggest UX win we really have, I believe, is unified addresses. So in unified addresses, and I'm sure there's multiple other talks these next couple of days on this subject alone. So I'm going to give just a high level view of this. But your unified address is an idea that we can have a sort of a future looking address that's you have a single address that is a bundle of others. So instead of having a transparent address, a sapling address, an orchid address, maybe even a sprout address, you're going to have simply a single unified address that within itself knows how to handle funds that go through those certain pools. Another way to put this is that if I receive at my unified address transparent transparent funds, so a transparent shield, someone sends me some T funds, even into my own T address, my unified address combined with shielding by default will take that ZEC and move it over to the Orchard pool and shield it immediately. And I'm going to walk you through a little bit more what that means in detail through the UI of the Ecc Wallet. Now, this is our internal wallet. We're going to be opening this up for closed beta after testnet, and there'll be a sign up at the end of this that I'd love to get people's names that are interested. But we basically believe we've got something that's going to make everything work a lot smoother. And I say smoother because in the first couple years of Zcash, there was a small problem with that. While we could provide the best privacy, not every user knew if the privacy was on or off, and they didn't always feel like they're informed whether it was on or off or not. And we got a little bit of I don't want to call it bad blood, but hurt feelings from that, which is understandable. We promised one thing and they got another. So we're going to fix that now. So here is, we're just going to run through this really quickly on a screen by screen level. So initially, when you first open up your Ecc wallet, you're going to get some initial education. And this is basically going to say, hey, we now shield by default. What this means is that any funds you receive that are unshielded, we're going to shield for you. And this is going to be global. This is going to be true. Now, there will be products that third parties decide to implement that don't necessarily do auto shielding. Shielded by default might still be the way that the Orchid address is going to work, but auto shielding, where it does it for you, in that you give agency to your wallet to do these transactions, might be something they decide they don't want to do. But for this particular build, we're going to test it. So user gets to the screen, they read through it, they say, got it. And all it does is simply move them to their balance screen, and any transparent funds will trickle in there, and you'll see a balance that is now larger based on your shielded and transparents together. We're going to do this by checking on loading if there are any T funds. And if we could do this in the background, that would be even better. We're doing some research spikes on that right now. But phones are pretty particular with their memory and their CPU. So we're assuming we can't right now. We're assuming we need the user to step in and open the app for us. If the user does step in and open the app, we're going to see a quick, hey, we see that you have more than one ZEC in transparent funds. We're going to shield those for you right now. And we're going to have a little shielding animation, and you'll be brought right back to the home screen with your larger balance. I want to point out that the one ZEC there is somewhat an arbitrary number. We do believe for security reasons, we don't want to shield every time we get a transparent. We want to shield when that transparent number gets above a certain amount. So someone can't send you a fee transaction over and over again to watch the blockchain to try to learn a little bit more about your location or your actual phone itself or anything else you can get from chain analysis when you see a T going into a Z. There still does need to be a manual flow. So if you're on the balance screen at any point in time and you happen to see an asterisk next to your available, you can click that. In fact, you can click that balance at any time you want, and you're going to get a screen that looks a lot like the left side screen, where it's going to say, here's your total shielded. Here's what you happen to have in your transparent pool. Here's what your total would be if you shield it, and then you have an action to shield transparent funds now. This screen means that they opted out of shielding by default. Like, you really wouldn't get to the screen with that much transparent in our current concept. However, we do want to build for the idea that some people aren't going to implement everything. So there does need to be a manual way to do it. The other thing you need to realize is, as we move forward with unified addresses, this screen where it's like, here's your shielded QR and here's your transparent QR, should go away. You should have one QR that represents you, that you can have faith in at all times, that you'll get your funds no matter where they send it to, no matter what their client is comfortable sending TZ worker or not, you're going to get the correct funds. But at some point, we also need to allow the user to dig down and get their addresses if they're interested in them. So pull back out to the. So there are a couple challenges moving forward with this. In general, for UX, since we were just talking about shielding by default, I'm gonna jump to the third bullet, but I'll come right back up in a second. There is sort of a Schrodinger's wallet hypothesis here, which is that shielding by default is perfect, but it only works if your wallet is active, or at least is active every once in a while. So the wallet needs to be open. It needs agency to migrate from pools. It needs agency to shield funds that are in that wallet. That doesn't happen if you haven't opened up your wallet in a month. What you're really going to do is spend the first 20 minutes syncing the blockchain before you even get to thinking about making transactions for yourself. So there's this little bit of, are my funds shielded or not? And as soon as you look at it, yeah, they're going to be shielded, which is great. We're a step in the right way. But I think we need to tie this into some sort of realistic interaction with the user, where it's like, hey, you receive funds, come sync, or you haven't checked in a week. We all know those little notifications are annoying. We turn off all the notifications we can. So one of the challenges for designers and developers moving forward is, how can we make that less painful and more part of the process, and something users are happy to do, instead of doing last minute and being delayed when trying to buy that cup of coffee. So jumping back to the top of the list, I believe that, Halo 5 adoption in general, we have a great partner set, I know, that's ready to go and get this off the ground. But the more people that adopt it, first of all, we're going to get the great scaling benefits, but also UAs. The more people that use them, the more sense they're going to make. They do work backwards, which means if you are a legacy wallet and you try to talk to a wallet that uses a UA, they will pretty much negotiate a handshake for the right way to send money next to each other. But I think that this really is one of the innovations coming out of our field, and I'd love us to all run with it. We still compete with the payment industry. This is on purpose. I'm saying we want to be competing with the payment industry, but the winners in that area all have a couple things in common. It's easy to find who you're sending to. It's an email address. It's their active phone number. It's easy to see history that I did send to you. It's, once again, based basically on that same address book concept. Wallet team hates me because I bring it up at every meeting, but I believe firmly that we need to have some sort of address book system. I understand that we need to do pet names versus nicknames. So you're the one creating the name, so someone can't phish you very easily and say, hey, I'm Geffen, please send me that money from lunch. No, you have to say that, oh, this is Geftard, I listed him as that, and I know it's Geffen. The payment industry also has point of sale equipment, which already works so easily with physical cards and NFC. I know we're getting there. I've taken the Spenda and gone to Lowe's and bought stuff with my Zec, and it's worked great one time. The next time it didn't work very well. Some of that, I think, is just adoption pains as people understand the technology is there. But we also have complex transactions where I simply want to pay for my food, but I also want to tip. They're very socially awkward. You end up having to be an evangelist and bringing in everybody involved into the Zec sphere, which, by the way, keep doing. I love that. But it should be an easier system, even if we just need to have a third party write a quick little Zec tipping app. And then these aren't exactly challenges as much as we're always going to be improving syncing. And we know we're going to be improving note optimization. This is opportunistically. When I say note optimization, there is a there's an issue when you send out funds that it grabs the note in your wallet that represents the funds you have. And that, let's say that wallet note was 10 ZEC because you sent 10 ZEC in. Well, you're only paying someone 1 ZEC. So you have change of 9 ZEC, but you have to wait for all of those confirmations to see that you have that money back. While that is acceptable, and it's where we are right now, and it's pretty much true of most wallets, we can do better. At a minimum, we can say, hey, this person spends 0.125 ZEC every day. Let's make sure we have some notes lying around that are that number. There's some information security possible leaks there too, so we have to move slowly, but we are working on that as a team. Just a few more things. There's a huge panel about UDAs and ZSAs this morning. I hope you guys had a chance to listen in. I think there's another talk later. This is going to force us, at least internally, to create a multi-coin wallet. Like right now, while we have a multi-coin wallet because there's T addresses and Z addresses, we haven't gotten it to the point where they're truly different types of assets. Some of our third parties have, of course, when they brought ZEC into their own machines, and they're often using trading pairs or their own dark pool trades or any way to facilitate the on and off ramps. But we've kind of been ignoring it. We've been doing a if we build it, they'll come kind of situation. Well, we're about to build a lot more right here, so I want to take the time to think about this. So finally, what's next? Really, you tell us. This QR code on the screen, and I'll put it in Discord as well, takes you to a Google form, which basically says you want to be part of the closed beta. The closed beta will get you access to the wallet apps when we release them. This will not be until testnet is live, so not till earliest July 1st. And it will, maybe not everyone will be able to get on there. I think we're going to have a certain size list, so we'll see who signs up. But we're very excited about that. Even the designs I just showed you are old. We're already redesigning everything to have a new look and a new feel. So be very excited about that. Testnet itself coming July 1st. Zebra is going to be released soon, and we're going to have hackathons for all the things. We want hackathons on Zebra side. We want hackathons on ECC side. When I'm speaking about the wallet, I think we got into a place where people understand that having these design sprints are coming out with really great ideas and innovations. I believe we can thank the UA or curse, depending on how you feel about it, the UA architecture coming from the last design sprint. And I believe that is it. Thank you very much. Give us any feedback you can, either here or in Discord. Let me check if there's any questions we can answer directly. Let's see, and I believe I created some popes. So if you want one, go ahead and send me a text on Discord and I will send you a code for one. It looks like we got pretty much free of questions today, so we'll be ending a little bit early. Billy, is there anything else you would like to say?
I don't think so. Just it's such a shame to not be able to see everyone's faces today, and hopefully next time around. Yeah, please, if you do think of any questions after the session, please, we'll be monitoring the Discord channel, and we'll be happy to take any questions there and answer them today and tomorrow. We'll be around, and even after, we'll keep an eye out.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.